Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cool Water Show where we talk all about the Real Housewives over there on Bravo. But we are on Silent Podcast where we are anything but silent. My name is Kari. I am joined by Katie, and there's too much going on my computer currently. Here, hi Katie, how are you?
I'm good. I'm repping my team's hat today. The Giants are in the playoffs, so I'm excited to watch. Shout out to them. Hopefully, YouTube doesn't give me a copyright strike for wearing a logo. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm good. I'm good. I feel like we've been talking so much about so many different shows this week. We've had so many podcasts come out that I'm like trying to recall everything that happened in the Housewives world.
Yeah, I completely agree. I have to admit that I watched Potomac. I watched like the first half on Monday, and then I don't think I watched the second half of it until like 3 days later. Last night, I watched Salt Lake City and Miami while working on my homework. So I am definitely like multitasking and not giving these women my full attention. And I apologize, but there's just so much going on right now. Like you,
Yes.
the Giants, I have the Cowboys in the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs. There's just football on in general, which like I not to go to sports because I don't know how big the overlap is
Probably
here.
not very, but
Yeah. I turned the game off last night after the fourth interception by the Jaguars.
what
And
a
then,
what a turn of events.
right. How does that happen? I don't know because I didn't watch. I decided to watch Real Housewives instead.
Yeah, and maybe more dramatic than Real Housewives for sure, that game last night.
Incredible that you can throw four interceptions, be down 27 points, and still come back and win.
Yeah, it's wild. It's a
Trevor
wild
Lawrence
time.
looks like he could be a real housewife.
Johnny Bananas, a very long time ago. I know we're like getting into a million different areas of all the things we talk about, but Johnny Bananas, when Trevor Lawrence was in the championship game, tweeted that he looked like Nicole Zanata. And I will never, he was like, since when is Nicole Zanata the quarterback of whatever college he went to? And I was like, this
Clemson.
tweet will never leave my brain. And now every time I see him, I hear to myself, "You guys ready to party?" From Nicole's. Like every time we heard Real World Skeletons intro, we got that sound clip from
Mhm.
Nicole. And it's just a lot in my brain. So that's where I'm
Well,
at right now.
okay. Well, Trevor Lawrence was at Waffle House last night celebrating. So
Good for him.
um, go get it, Trevor Lawrence. But
Mm.
I didn't want the Chargers to win because I don't like how their quarterback throws the ball. It looks like he skipped a fundamentals class. It's like kind of that sidearm, like short throw,
Mm.
and it's just ugly. So,
I'm not a Trevor Lawrence supporter, so
oh, any reason besides that he looks like
I think that's
Nicole?
truly the main reason, actually. But no, yeah, no, there's no real reason. So he's not for me.
Yeah, I don't care
It's just a
about
vibe.
him. It was just like I think Lavelle was here when the game started. He's like, "Who do you want to win?" And I was like, I don't really care, but I really don't like how this guy throws the ball. So
Mm,
that was like my deciding factor. But I didn't care enough clearly to continue watching the game through thick
clearly,
and thin because, well, one, I had to watch these episodes before we podcasted about them, but two, they were after four interceptions. So I was like, well, we're on. I had to explain to Lavelle, I'm like, he's on track for 12 interceptions this game. And he's like, what? And I'm like, he threw three in the first quarter, and there are four quarters, three times four. So he's
rough.
like, that's not how it works. I'm like, that's what on track means. It doesn't mean he definitely will. So then, yeah, after the fourth one, I was like, I'm out. Peace.
Yeah,
But
understandable.
Trevor
Understandable.
didn't leave. Trevor Lawrence stayed.
He did.
So, all right. Well, we can get into some housewives, I guess, now that we've done our NFL recap.
Hmm.
So first up is the Real Housewives of Potomac. And I felt like we had kind of like a low key episode this week because they were like getting ready for their trip to Mexico.
Yeah, I feel like this was a setup episode. The second
Mhm.
half was definitely significantly more interesting than the first half, but we definitely kicked off with just some like, when they go on those trips and they're like packing and we get all that like montage and stuff.
Mhm.
Is this the episode where we got Juan and Robin's sons getting custom suits
Yeah.
fitted. Can I ask you what the purpose of this is if there's only going to be 4 people at this wedding and 2 of them are Robin and Juan and the other 2 are these boys? Like, just wear whatever you want. Why do
Pictures.
we need custom suits? I guess, but like you need to pay that money for custom suits just for pictures?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're gonna do something where no one else is going to be able to see it, and like clearly some of these women either want to care to be dramatic or like do actually care that they're not being invited. I think of like Karen Huger
Yeah.
specifically of how much shit she's talking that the 4 of them are having their own wedding ceremony, that at least there's documentation of it, because I could also see with these women being like, it didn't actually happen. This
Yeah,
wedding
that's
is
true.
fake. So,
I mean, I
um,
don't disagree with them. Is this wedding real? I have no idea. I'm not like Robin and Juan in love forever, like I can clearly read their love off the screen. No, I'm just like, is this a thing or is this just like Robin trying to get a storyline?
to fake a wedding for a storyline, Robin just doesn't strike me as the one to do that. You know what I mean? Like, if you had told me that someone else was doing that, then like, oh, hey, Nitro, I would be more inclined to believe it. But I just feel like Robin doesn't care that much, you know? Like,
I just feel like she needs to do something to stay on the show. And I feel like her relationship with Juan has been like her anchor. Now that they're
mhm.
engaged, I just feel like how many seasons can we go on with you being engaged but not planning a wedding without like something having to happen? I just don't think they care about getting married, which is fine.
Yeah.
They're probably fine just like living their life the way that it is. But I just feel like, why are you having this wedding? Do you guys even care? I don't know. It just feels like I guess we got to do this because it's been 2 seasons of this story, so we have to wrap it up somehow.
Maybe. I don't know. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt that it's for real. And maybe, honestly, I could see it just being that, do they care that much about being married? No. But do they care about shutting people up? Yes.
Right.
Because that would, if I was Robin right now, that'd be my motivation, just so people would shut the fuck up and find something else new to talk about in regards to me. Like, hey, I have this wonderful hat line with the silk interior that
Mm-hmm.
is great for hair.
Seems to be
Uh,
very popular.
yeah, like, so talk about that instead. Leave my husband, who may or may not be involved in covering up a sexual misconduct allegation, alone.
Yeah, can we actually haven't spoken about this on the podcast. Can we acknowledge this and just
Yeah.
give a quick rundown? So basically, from what I understand, what I saw on a TikTok, the only source of news that I've seen about this situation, which I found through Reddit because I'm not a TikTok user. I guess there's a coach of the college that Juan coaches at basketball
Chopin
who,
State.
thank you, was catfishing players on the team as
At least one.
at least one, but then 2 potentially. I don't know. I think the story was that like, so I guess he was catfishing this one player for a while as if this coach were a woman and got compromising pictures from this player. And then I guess the story is that he started catfishing as the same woman to another player on the team and then somehow got these 2 players to engage in some sort of something. I don't know, sexual
I'm
activity or something.
so it's a little different. What
Okay.
happened, it wasn't a second player. What happened was the coach himself said that he was being catfished by that woman, and
Oh.
that woman said to the coach that um if the coach and the player did not send her um a video of the coach and the player interacting in a sexual way, that she would then expose everything. So it was the coach doing, it wasn't a second player, it was the coach
Oh.
manipulating the situation so that he could have some sort of sexual relation with this player. And if he didn't do it, he would lose a scholarship. So the player was like, I don't know what to do. I don't want this to get out. So he did it. But then
So
the
he
coach,
engaged in sexual activity with this coach.
yes, yes, but
Mamma mia.
like he did it out of like self-perseverance, and the
Right.
coach
Well, he was like
initiated
blackmailed
it
into it,
through,
basically.
yes, the coach initiated it through this woman. Um, so then after it happened, and um the coach kind of like tried to get more out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and the player was like, this is enough, and he then went and exposed it, and it kind of got like shut down,
Yeah,
and
he
there
went to
wasn't.
Juan essentially,
Yeah.
who was. Is Juan like I get is this guy the head coach or is Juan the head coach? This is what I don't understand what the
One is the
relationship
head
is.
coach, the other
Okay,
guy is the assistant coach, and
got it.
in one of the places, so I had actually seen a TikTok about it before you had sent it to me, and I thought I had sent it to you, but maybe I didn't. And I he who said it? Someone said that Juan Dixon said that like he knew that this guy had a history of like mental health issues, and Juan wanted to give him a chance, and then obviously this happened.
Yeah, I guess the scandal part of it as it comes to Juan is that this player went to Juan and Juan was just like, yeah, okay, whatever, and just blew it off basically and didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, and then I think the player ended up leaving the team, and the coach is still there.
Well, that's a choice. Even now, the coach is still there after this has been exposed.
I could be wrong. That might have changed. Like from the perspective I watched it from, I think there was like still investigation happening.
Yikes. I haven't followed up since that one TikTok that I saw, but what I saw, where I found it was, or where I happened upon it was on a Reddit thread saying that Robin is thinking of leaving the show next season. And everyone's like, oh, it's because of Juan's scandal. And I was like, oh, tell me more about Juan's scandal, thinking it
Yeah.
was a cheating scandal, but really it was this. So I was like, oh, shit.
But to me, it might not make sense for Robin to leave if there is a chance that Juan Dixon isn't going to have a head coaching position, because
Yeah.
then that would be, as I had recently described to my partner. Well, I guess it wouldn't be a zinc because they have two kids. So,
Zero income, no kids.
yeah. So, but they'd be zero income at least on like the main job front. So,
Yeah.
to me, it wouldn't really make sense for Robin to leave if this happens, because like where are they gonna have money?
Well, I think the theory is that they don't want to address it on the show, and I think they're
Right.
probably hoping it just goes away. I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah, not great, not great on Juan. You know, Juan's stock was really high for me in the beginning, probably just
Hmm.
because he's very attractive. So I let a lot of things go, as women do, or those who are attracted to men do, not only women. And his stock has just been slowly, steadily declining season after season. And I think this is where it just like plummets really far into the red. Also, he's friends with Michael Darby. Like, that's if you know Michael Darby is out there saying all these things that he wants to do to Juan and then is also assaulting people, cameramen, people who work for the show,
Right.
and you're still like, oh yeah, can we have a private bachelor party? We'll have and yeah, man, we'll go wherever. Like, no. You need to not be friends with this guy. Like, what's your judge of character? So big question mark over Juan for me in general. And there has been for a couple of seasons, but this is the period
Yeah.
at the end of the sentence.
Yeah. So this hasn't come up in any of the shows, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's definitely happening in real world.
Yes. But if we hear any news, we'll keep you updated.
Yes. So things really picked up with this episode when it was like kind of on the flight, but kind of after the flight,
Can we
because
talk about the flight situation before we even like get into all this? Like they
yeah,
took two separate flights and Charisse is like, oh, let's go to the lounge. And they were like, yeah, let's go to the lounge. I'm so hungry. And I don't remember how it was split, but Charisse and who? Someone, I don't remember who else was with her, but they like all went to the lounge. It seemed like they had like regular nice seats maybe and access to the lounge. And then we see like Giselle and Robin and Candace like sitting in steerage in the like waiting for in the like the main area with all the like with all the peons like me where I would be waiting.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is where they're sitting. Like it just seemed so weird to me that they're just like out there at the gate with everybody else. I just thought that was so like janky.
we're flying commercial, baby.
Even still, go to the lounge. There has to be somewhere in the airport that Bravo
Yeah.
could have contacted and been like, hey, can we put these housewives like in this room while we
Yeah.
film? But no, they were sitting right there at the gate, just like I would be, waiting to board. It just seemed like so janky.
Yeah. Well, I think janky might just be a word to describe like what's going on from here on out because we kind of find out about the flight after it happens. I did like how they did this. So they're like, all right, things are already weird. Let us describe what happened
With this
on this
graphic,
flight.
this cartoon graphic.
Yes.
Only
And
Potomac can get away with this.
yeah, honestly. So apparently, well, Giselle was saying, like, listen, when you're on a flight, you usually just like lay back, put your AirPods in,
Mhm.
you watch a movie or listen to music, fall asleep. Like that's airplane etiquette on this.
Mhm.
But
If you're me, you
me
watch the map the entire time to make sure your plane is still up in the air.
you I don't want to get too far into this, but the
Mm.
map is what shows you that you're still in the air and not like the
Yep.
airplane still functioning that
Mm-mm.
it is still
Nope,
up
it's
in
the
the air.
map. The map confirms it for me.
Okay,
Hmm.
got it. Got it. Um my favorite thing to do is if I'm on Southwest is to watch Bravo. Actually, it's how I've gotten into Below Deck, but sometimes I'll do homework, other times I'll sleep. It really depends on what time the flight is. That's
Mm.
what it comes down to. So, uh Giselle goes on to describe it. Well, Mia and Jacqueline are having like a full blown argument on the plane
Yep.
about like raising kids or something. Okay, I'm not a good podcast host. I want to admit this right now. I did not really pay attention to the Mia and Jacqueline fight of everything, and I think it's just because I don't care. Like it doesn't if their fight involving themselves to me is kind of just like not serving in a way
Hmm.
that it makes them it's not like a good housewife fight if you will. Like I want Mia to be fight like Mia and Wendy fighting as much as I did not support Mia in that and I was team Wendy in it is still at least more interesting because it's like two housewives and I get that we have a friend of but like they have this long lasting it seems like all of it is just fabricated for a storyline really is it's just hard for me to care about it. So I will openly admit my recollection of this fight, not great.
Okay, I can break it down. I don't think
Please.
it's fabricated. I think it's a very deep seated thing between these two that's like weird. That's where I feel like it's really real and something about their friendship that we've been shown is
Mm-hmm.
fabricated. Like their relationship is not what it appears to be and it seems to be much deeper than we know about. And that's what I think is like not clicking because it's like okay, you guys are like getting into these huge blowout fights but all you are supposed to be is like best friends. I don't know. It feels like they're way more intertwined in their lives than we are seeing or really know about, which is I think like
Mm-hmm.
what Giselle and Robin and Karen are all like, wait, you guys like what you shower together and then you like what's going on? But basically, I think we got a little snippet of it when Mia and what is her husband's name? Gordon?
Yeah.
When Mia and Gordon were like talking before the trip, but it sounded like Jacqueline's sister is Mia's kid's nanny. So she like employs
Yeah.
Jacqueline's sister as her nanny. And I guess Jacqueline when she doesn't have a nanny, sometimes Mia is like, "Okay, just bring the kids over here and your sister will watch both sets of children or something like that." And I guess Jacqueline just assumed that Mia would be fine or just like asked Mia like where are my kids or like I don't have like just like made an assumption that Mia would like take care of the kids or her sister would take care of the kids and Mia's like that's not my problem like she's my nanny like I'm paying her you're not paying her or whatever like something that's like the vibe it seemed like and I guess then a whole situation came about where like Jacqueline said it takes a village to raise kids, but you wouldn't know about that because Mia had a bad childhood, obviously, as we've heard about with her
Mm-hmm.
mom, and her mom wasn't always there, and she had problems with addiction. And I guess they just like had a big blowout from there. And then in the airport or hotel lobby, I guess they were in the hotel lobby after they landed. I don't really know where they were, but this kept going and everybody was kind of like looking like it was very comical, like everybody looking at Mia and Jacqueline fighting. And then Mia just comes out and says like, well, close your legs to marry, don't sleep with married men, which she took a page from Nini's book. I felt like she really took that and tried to make it her own. And then Jacqueline just lost it and just started sobbing. And everybody's like, what is going on? Like nobody really was following what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember parts of that. I don't know. It's so hard for you to bring on a friend and then your drama is with said friend. Like, I don't really have a connection with you or the friend of
Right.
enough to care, especially on a cast like Potomac, where most of these women, or at least four, what, three? Three of them have been on since season one, and then Candace was season two, right? No. Oh,
Candace, I think,
Ashley
was
was season
season.
one,
Yeah,
right? So it's four of them were season
Ashley. Yeah,
one.
four, and then
And
five if you include Charisse, but she's been on enough.
yeah. And Candace came in the next
Three.
season. Two, three. Either way, like, we've got women who've been around for a while that's why I was just like, I don't, there's a lot of screaming. It involves kids. I don't like kids. And I just had a really hard time paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for paying attention on behalf of both of us, because I didn't, and
It's fair.
maybe I'll figure it out next episode.
I'm sure we'll get more of it. My favorite part of the whole fight was just everybody else's reaction, specifically Candace. Candace was like, what? Like, she was just like, oh my God. I don't know. Candace was just very funny. And she was going over and she was comforting Jacqueline, even though she had issues with Jacqueline in the past. And I just feel like the growth this season that we're seeing from Candace is just like, can't be understated how it seems like she has matured and grown as a person.
Yeah, I feel like old Candace would have gotten kicked off this season at least 3 times already.
I completely agree.
So proud of her for that. Definitely.
Yeah. As a longtime Candace fan since her first season, which not a lot of people were, I'm very excited to finally be like, see, guys, this is what I've seen in Candace this whole time.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that needs to be stated from the Jacqueline
I don't think so.
Mia fight? Do you have a side in it?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
My side is just like, I hope this is entertaining.
Makes sense. Okay. And then the next major fight that happens is Charisse and Karen, because Giselle is like, I'm making it my mission to figure out why Karen does not like Charisse. And Mia supposedly knows.
Yes, supposedly Mia knows. I have found Giselle to be extremely messy this season, but here I'm fully supporting her because Karen, if you're on TV and this other woman is on TV with you and you hate her so much that you can barely be in a room with her, we need to know why. Like, you can't just be like, oh yeah, Charisse, no one's thought about you since season one or whatever. Like, no, there is a reason and I want to know what it is.
Mm-hmm. And they start yelling at each other. It took a left
Charisse
very
brings
quickly.
up, I think, what I picked up is that in this argument, Charisse brought up Karen's mother who passed away and maybe her funeral. But I think she was saying like, I reached out to you or I supported you when your mother passed, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And Karen just like took it and was like, do not bring up my mother. Like, and she went off.
Yeah. It seemed like Karen was grasping at anything to seem justified in yelling at Charisse.
Mm-hmm.
And this wasn't it. I mean, she kept going. Don't bring up my mother. Do not bring. And it's like they stand. And are we in like a hold me back situation? Like, are we gonna have like
we're in a hold me back situation?
It had like NBA scuffle tied all like written all over it. Just like, we're not gonna actually throw punches, but we'll like get close to each other and maybe bump some shoulders or something. But they leave us kind of in the middle of all this. But Karen's yelling about her mom, and Charisse is like, I'm not talking about your mom.
Yep.
But we don't know why that there's really yelling at this moment. We still are yet to figure out what is the underlying reason that we are at this standing on opposite sides of the table screaming at each other.
Yeah. This is a side of Karen I don't know that we've ever seen before. Like, I don't know that she's ever gone like this over the top in an argument. Usually she keeps up appearances pretty well and she keeps it like shady funny and not like losing control of her emotions in a fight. And here I feel like she lost control of her emotions because I think she just hates Charisse so much that I think you're right. Like, even probably subconsciously, she was just grabbing something that Cherie said and just, losing her mind about it. But I think Charisse probably knows a lot more than Karen wants her to know, and that she doesn't trust Charisse not to. There's something Karen is hiding, obviously.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's
Yeah.
her relationship with Greg or whatever it is, but that's what it seems like.
Wait, her relationship with Greg?
What is it? What is his name?
Her husband?
Yeah. What's
Isn't
his
it
name?
Ray?
Oh, shit. Who's Greg?
I don't know.
My brain. I don't know who Greg is, but shout out to Greg.
Is there a Greg that she has?
No,
might
sorry,
have
I don't
a
know who Greg
relationship
is.
with? Is Greg her assistant that then put
No,
on
that
the
guy's name
show?
is Matt.
Okay.
Literally no idea who Greg is. Someone's husband's name is Greg on some housewife somewhere. Maybe.
Yeah,
Shout
I
out
don't
to
know.
Greg.
Yeah, because I was like,
Maybe I'm reading Greg's name in our chat. I said
Maybe.
Greg. I don't
Maybe.
know. Guys, it's been a long week, okay? A lot of podcasts.
there's been so much content
I'm making
in
people up that don't
podcasts.
exist. I don't know. Whatever.
I mean,
His name
we're
is
big
Ray.
proponents of just
Nene and
naming the
Greg.
men what
It
we
said
want.
it is
Oh,
right.
duh,
Nene and Greg.
Greg.
Nene and Greg. Thank you. Thank you. That is definitely who I was like, someone's husband's name is Greg. Rest in peace to Greg, by the way.
Because there's not many husbands that I'm confident in rattling off their first name and being right. But Ray Huger, I know. So
Yeah, I'm
when
sorry.
you said that, I'm like, do we know a Greg that like she's fucked around with? Because I thought
No,
the
I was
only
definitely
thing
thinking
we
of
knew
Greg
was
Leeds.
like Blue Eyes guy or whatever, like Blue Eyes Man is the closest we've gotten to a name.
Yeah.
So I thought you knew something that I didn't.
No, I don't know anything clearly. So clearly I know nothing about anything.
It's fine. It's fine. But the chat's here to save us. That's why
Yes,
we
thank
like
you,
being
Ed.
live. That's why we love the interaction.
Mess. I'm a mess. Guys, I'm
Yeah.
tired, okay?
So Charisse definitely knows something, and Karen is not handling the idea that it can come out at whatever moment. And I mean, it makes sense in that, like, oh, she brought my mother, let me go with this, so that people are focusing on like what's happening in that moment. But it's not like,
Yeah.
that's clearly not the thing. This is, her mom is not the issue here.
No.
So,
No.
Whew.
But we
And-
get one of my least favorite things, a to be continued with
Yeah.
no preview.
Yeah,
But we'll
That's
find
what-
out tonight
that's
where
true.
we end up.
I agree. I don't like the to be continues. It's kind of unnecessary. Like, we're coming back.
Yeah.
Just give us a heads up on what's happening.
I know. Jason and I were talking about Pressure Cooker yesterday, and I don't think you've watched it, right, on Netflix?
Not yet. It's on my very, very, very short list.
It's
but
good.
I've heard. I'm trying to keep current with The Circle so I can do an end of season
I
podcast
understand.
about it. So I think after that, I will venture over to Pressure Cooker.
Makes sense. But they do some of their episodes end similar to The Circle, how they end like on a cliffhanger, and but like the next episode exists.
It's so annoying to me. And like
It's very
Peacock's
annoying.
doing that too with traders. Like,
Yeah, it's
I get
very
that
annoying.
I'm cutting myself off because of podcasting. So like I'm currently at a actual cliffhanger that I am waiting till after we podcast. But in the grand scheme of we're dropping all 10 episodes at once, or we're dropping 4 episodes at a time, and you're putting a cliffhanger on the second of 4 episodes, why? Like, why? This is the least useful way of using a cliffhanger. Like, this is just what is the purpose? It's not like
Right.
we have to wait 7 days. I don't know. That annoys me. So
No,
sorry.
I agree. And we talked about that on the Pressure Cooker podcast, because there are some episodes where like someone will get eliminated, but then they'll still be there for the next episode. So Jason is doing the same thing you're doing. He's cutting himself off at the end of the podcast that he is covering. So like the last one ended at a cliffhanger, but then the one before still had the person who was eliminated in the episode, that, and it's like, it just is a jarring viewing experience. I feel like when you have to, either when you're imposing yourself to like wait a week to watch something, or you're being forced to wait a week for a cliffhanger. Like, it's just, nobody likes them. The Bachelor used to do it. The Bachelor like started doing it, and everybody didn't end the episodes with a rose ceremony, and people used to freak out. The Challenge did it for a while, for a few seasons, and it just like consistently, no one likes this. So just stop. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
It's just that, to me, it seems like the people who make these TV shows think that they are they need to like trick their audience
Yeah, like
when
we're gonna keep watching. Unless it's Salt
yeah,
Lake City, then it's questionable if I'm
yeah,
gonna keep watching.
trust that we're gonna come back.
Yeah.
Just trust. And if we don't, that's your fault. It's not our fault. It's your fault. And your little gimmicks of an unnecessary cliffhanger aren't gonna do it. It's
Yeah.
if it sucks, I'm just not coming back.
Yeah.
And a cliffhanger is not going to change that. So
Agreed.
especially also with the internet. You know what I mean? Like I could understand back in the day when literally the only discourse you had about a TV show was at the cool water or like, at the water cooler
Mm-hmm.
or amongst your friends, your family, whoever. But now it's the internet. And so if I want to find out what's going to happen on a show, I will Google it. Like,
Sure.
not what will happen or what has happened. Like, oh, I'm not really big on this, or like, oh, I missed an episode. I don't feel like going back and watching it. Let me read a quick recap or whatever. Like, the information is very easily accessible. Just trust
Yes.
that we're going to come back and watch it.
Yeah, we'll be there. Don't worry about it. We'll be there.
Yes. All right. Do you have anything else you want to say about Potomac?
Nope.
Cool, me neither. So let's move on to Salt Lake City. I thought this was an interesting season finale
Ugh.
because, as I told you, I say interesting not in like the literal meaning of the word, but when someone is like, oh, do you like my dress? You're like, yeah, it's interesting. And it's like, I actually mean it's ugly, like that type of
Yeah.
thing. That's kind of where I'm at with interesting when I say that. Because as I mentioned to you, I was doing my homework while doing this. So,
That's the only way to
um,
view this season finale, by the way. I was on my phone just scrolling
mhm,
because I've been off Twitter for days and now I'm back. So I was like, well,
yeah,
let me catch up on all the things I missed on Twitter over the last few days while I have this on in the background, which is the recommended viewing experience for this season of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
absolutely. But the parts that got me were early on. We're at like Heather's book cover revealing, and then all
Also,
of a
like, what the
sudden,
fuck is a book cover reveal party?
wait, we will get back to that because I want to get into like how they broke up this episode. Then
Yeah.
we will talk about it because all of a sudden, like the conversation stops, and you hear that like kind of background music. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what the hell? And I look up, and it's that like end of season when they
Yeah, like
have a
those
picture of the
cards. Yeah.
person and they explain like, oh well, Meredith isn't having sex with half of New York. She's like or whatever. She's still the CEO of
Yeah.
Fun. Blah blah.
She's only wearing shirts that Ted she does.
Yeah.
Blah, blah.
So when I was like, why'd they stop talking? Because I'm listening to everything and not really looking at it. And I look up and I pause it. I'm like, shit, now I have to actually like pay attention for the next 2 minutes. I'm like, but I literally just turned this on like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
There's no way we're at the end of the episode unless they were like, yo, shit hit the fan. Like, we just gotta tidy this up. Here's a 30-minute with 12 minutes of ads episode. Like, we're out of here.
Yeah.
And then it cut to New York and the couple of days and I guess day of Jen pleading guilty to her crime. So we'll get to all that, but I was very thrown off by it. It's like when you watch Survivor and it's like, whoa, it's only like 8:35 and we're already going to tribal. This shit's
Yeah.
gonna be wild. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of where it's like, how are we at this in this time frame? So anyway, yeah, let's go. We can go back to the beginning. I was just very thrown off by all of it.
Yeah, it kind of like perfectly caps off this season, right? The whole season kind of felt like this. It didn't really make any sense. Obviously, like I think there's a lot of theories out there about the editing, and I think that they originally started filming with Jenny, who was fired, and then they had to like scrap all of Jenny's scenes, and the storylines made no sense. We didn't get any resolution to pretty much anything.
What were the storylines?
Right. I mean, there's a black eye and
Oh, well,
Whitney's
yeah, I guess
healing
that's that.
journey, and then like
I
I
don't
don't
care.
know what else, like Lisa and Meredith fighting, but like even that we didn't really get. That was not like a main point of the show. So it was just I don't know. The whole thing is weird. They've also cut a lot of scenes like we didn't see Dana talking to Whitney that we saw in the trailer about
Yeah.
Stu becoming an informant or her friend becoming an informant, which I think we all assume is Stu. And we didn't see Dana also shredding Jen at this book cover reveal party,
Yeah.
which was like a huge moment in the trailer. And everybody's like,
Right.
oh, the newbie goes for Jen. And then they cut the scene.
Yeah.
And Dana posted about it on Instagram. It was like, yeah, I don't know, they cut it, but this is why we got into an argument. It's not even important enough for me to like go back and read why, but it's a weird, very weird decision. And I don't know if it has to do with like Jen pleading guilty. But then there's also the fact that they filmed the whole season with Jen upholding her innocence, and then like the day after, I think literally the day after they stopped filming, she pled guilty. So then that scene with Meredith, with Lisa and Heather, obviously was like thrown together because they already stopped
Yeah.
filming. So they were like, well, we have to film some reaction. These two people are not even friends. Why are you
Yeah.
filming these two people talking about this?
Right.
It's just so weird. It was just really weird.
It's crazy that even like Heather and Meredith fucking fly
How
out to New
embarrassing. They're
York,
embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for
and
them.
Jen is like, I'm innocent. And I mean, we started to see cracks of Jen realizing, and they showed some in that last episode, like when it's her and Heather in a kitchen. I don't know whose at this point. And
Someone's rented
Jen,
house.
yeah, it could have been like the like common kitchen that they offer in like luxury apartment
Yeah, it's
buildings.
like
Like I
I
know,
think they shot it in an IKEA
yeah, I know Lavelle's
staged
old building
kitchen,
had like two demo kitchens.
like a model
So it's,
apartment or something.
yeah, like, hey,
Yeah.
can we? No, they had like actual kitchens that like everybody could use if
Oh,
you wanted.
kind of
Yeah,
like a clubhousey type of thing.
yeah, like.
Yeah.
Hey, can we just like borrow your demo kitchen for 3 hours? We have to film some crying. Yeah, thanks, no problem. So when Jen's like, if I do end up going away, like tell Sharif, tell the boys that I love them and I'm proud of them every day, check in on my family, blah, blah, that I don't know. If it's me and I'm actually innocent, that's not leaving my mouth because I'm innocent. And I have enough confidence in my lawyer to prove that I'm innocent. So clearly that's the pleading of a guilty
Hmm.
person. But um yeah,
Well,
I
luckily she
when
has Heather as a ride or die.
ha sorry. Who was it, Meredith's husband that used
Yeah.
that as
He
well?
was like, "Are
Like,
you still going to be a ride or die friend?" And that made me feel like he was making fun of her. And
me
I choose
too.
to believe that in my head, whether it's true or not.
Me too. Before we get too far into Jen, is there anything that came from the book party closing scene of this? I think I have like one thing that I want to highlight, and it's just to reiterate that if they recast Salt Lake City, Lisa Barlow better be the front and center and
Oh,
the main.
no question.
When she was trying to figure out how, like, what was it, like Barbie scissoring or something would
Yes, that
happen
was so funny.
with Jen and Heather, and she's like using her arms as legs and trying to figure it out. Just Lisa, listen, you might disagree with like her being the main ad on Twitter for a month, or that she
I'm not mad about it.
no, I wasn't, but I had to go. I went to battle against some tweets against, like, listen, you don't understand who this is and why she's important.
Yes.
Um and I mean, there's definitely moments where like she's either wrong or like what she's doing is maybe not the best way of doing it, but she is the only highlight of this season.
Yeah, I think there was also a part where she was like, "Am I off key? I can't tell if I'm off
Yeah.
key. I don't even know if I'm on key." And it's just like she's campy, she's funny, she's what we need from a housewife. She doesn't take herself too seriously, and she doesn't really feed into these toxic people in a way that makes her also toxic. Like she feeds into it and she like fights back, but she just seems like the only person who's even grounded like somewhat in reality.
Yeah.
And Whitney, shockingly.
Right. Like when Whitney's the number 2 of 5, what are we doing?
I know. It's rough. We're in a rough situation right now. It's not great.
Correct. So,
But no, I mean, I guess there was that Angie K. Oh, Angie Harrington's husband apologized to Sharif.
did he really? It seemed like Angie actually
Well, yeah, I guess
apologized.
Angie did, and he
And
just stood
her
there.
husband just stood there, was like, just
Yeah.
like was trying to not cry, but also speak at the same time.
Yeah. And then Angie K said that Jen, off camera, of course, was blaming her for Heather's black eye. And then Angie K
Yeah.
lobbed an accusation that they were scissoring and got sexual.
And then like they weren't
someone
happy
was
with
bad
it.
at scissoring, so Jen
So
punched her in
they
the face.
like,
Yeah, seems logical. Seems
what
logical.
porn are you watching that this is how
Who
lesbian sex
knows?
happens?
I have truly no idea.
That's what I
Just
want to
wild.
know.
Just wild. Um, no, but that's it. And then I guess there was just that argument between Angie K and Jen where she accused her of fabricating her mental health issues. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I'm
that
not
was
going
it.
to
I feel
touch
like the
that.
party ended like right there.
Yeah, they definitely cut things short to get in this second half of Jen Shaw pleading guilty after telling us she's innocent all season. She's
Right.
only guilty of being shamazing.
Oh, and then there was Jen singing Amazing Grace, which, like,
Yeah.
I don't need this. Bravo. You could cut this out.
Yeah.
Let's stop trying to make her like a thing, like a quirky, funny thing, because they put a title card in the episode that she was sentenced to 6.5 years of jail. So they
Hmm.
obviously edited it and changed it and put that in. I mean, it seems like they just slotted it in, but like, why are we making Jen like, why are we trying to make Jen a thing at this point when we
Right.
know who she is and what she's done? For a fact, we know.
So then after the normal end of season stuff happens, it cuts to Jen going to New York, and we also have Heather and Meredith going to New York to support her. And this is like literally the day before she goes to
Mm-hmm.
court and pleads guilty.
Yeah.
And on tape is saying like, no, I'm going to like prepare with my lawyer or whatever.
And we see the scene with her mom,
Yeah,
which was rough because she basically depleted her mom's retirement money
yeah,
to
her
quote unquote
mom like,
fight this case. And she knew the whole time that she was guilty. And she knew talking to her mom that she was going to plead guilty. And she's still there. And her mom's like, "You're innocent, right? You're going to be innocent, right?" And Jen's just like,
yeah.
it's just sick. Defrauding the elderly as many times as she can. Her mom's not really elderly, but you know what I mean.
Right. And I mean, it's still taking advantage of someone. And even that's even worse. Like your mom saying, I'll sell my houses or like these properties and all this to support you for what? To
Right.
go to jail?
Right.
And, ugh, I don't know, just the whole like I wish my dad was here, and then how we heard recently during the sentencing how like she was in such a dark place because of this. And I just have such a hard time because it's like there's so many people who have lost a loved one who is important to
Mm-hmm.
them and have not gone out and done the things that Jen Shaw has done. And like I hate that she was even an entity this season.
I think they should have edited her out or just scrapped the season.
Honestly, that's what I was thinking. Like, yeah, you're gonna lose some money, but at the end of the day, like Bravo did not do this well.
Mm-mm. Not at all. Not at all.
Especially knowing what was it the whole season that when did she plead guilty in relationship to the season starting?
Starting
This
filming or starting airing?
started airing.
Oh, I mean, they knew the whole time because she pled guilty the day after filming ended. So they knew when the
Oh,
season started airing, they knew.
right. So I don't know. Like just, sometimes things don't work out. Bravo, throw it away.
Cut your
Instead,
losses.
it's just not pleasant watching Jen, and then especially these past couple weeks with like the sentencing and all of it.
Yeah.
It's just gross.
Yeah, I think that's like maybe not the biggest problem, but one of my biggest issues is we have these victim impact statements that came out publicly. We have the sentencing where her Michael Scott lawyer just like made her sound like a complete idiot. She's completely admitting, and then the US attorney is like, no, she was moving all of her stuff out of the country and into Cyprus because she knew, and she was like the head honcho, like she knew everything. Everybody knew that she was in charge. And then it's just like the timing is unfortunate because we can't even watch now the finale and say like, oh, this sucks for Jen. Maybe it's just like, no, we already know. So like, why are you giving us this sympathetic edit of
Yeah.
Jen? It gave me like, okay, like when Teresa was going to jail, which sure, she committed a crime knowingly or unknowingly, whatever. I don't think it was anything. Who was she defrauding? Like the government? not that
They
it's not
defraud
that
us
you
every day.
well, like, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, not like it's a victimless crime or whatever,
Yeah.
but it kind of is. It's not like impacting elderly people and taking money from people that we know, right?
Right.
Not that we know, but like, people who could be your grandmother or your mother or somebody. It's like, and just taking vulnerable people and using them to make money in an illegal way. Like, what did her and Joe do? Like tax evasion or something? I honestly don't even know, but big fucking deal, really. I mean, at the end of the day, big deal. It's not that serious. It doesn't make them disgusting, despicable people like this makes Jen. You know what I mean? It just makes them people who committed fraud against the government, which I just feel like is a totally different scale. And it's not because I'm a Teresa fan that I'm saying that. It just doesn't feel like that big of a deal to me. But not that I'm committing fraud, by the way. I'm just saying it's just like in the grand scheme of
Check my
household
shit. I'm
crimes, this
clean.
one feels like the lowest on the lowest rung on the ladder here. But with Jen, I just like the whole back half of this episode was like her and her mom and her crying to Heather in the kitchen and then her and Meredith and then talking about what a piece of shit Stuart is. And I'm like, you are the piece of shit. I mean,
Yeah.
Stuart's a piece of shit too, don't get me wrong, but like you're also a piece of shit. We need this like quirky scene of her feeding him a banana and she's like, make me money. And like, he's probably defrauding someone as like he's typing in this scene that's being on film. It's just like, it just feels really tone deaf to give her this
Yeah.
edit of sympathy almost. And then to hear her talking about, oh, my kids and Omer's only 16. And it's like, yeah, you did this though. You
Yeah.
did this to your kids. The government is not doing this to your kids. Homeland Security, who came to get you in the Sprinter van, is not doing this to your kids. You did this with your actions. You committed this crime. This is on you. 1,000% on you, on no one else.
Yeah. That's also something that I have an issue with. It's like, oh no, the consequences of my own
Right.
actions.
Exactly. I don't feel bad for her, even a little bit.
No.
And then I know it was a whole big story. Like the day that she got sentenced and Meredith and Heather were in New York, Meredith was posting on her Instagram story, like, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Like, give her a chance. And I'm like, this is literally maybe the most embarrassing thing that could ever happen to Meredith and Heather. Like, imagine just imagine. I can't even imagine like standing by someone without even questioning them. And then you're getting manipulated too, just like everybody else. It's just like,
Yeah.
so embarrassing.
Yeah. The way Jen Shaw was able to make people be on her side, because if you weren't, she would just make it hell for you. That
Right.
um I don't know. It's just not, this whole thing is just not a good look for truly everyone involved. And to just have it air like this on TV when you know what's happened is not my favorite.
All it takes is a shred of common sense for these
Yeah.
women to say, I mean, people get wrongly accused of crimes all the time, right? But for the NYPD, the FBI, Homeland Security, all of these really huge agencies flying in to Salt Lake City to arrest Jen while filming, let's just like use our brains a little bit and be like, I don't know, they probably did their due diligence if they're it's
Yeah.
not like someone was like accused of robbing a store and it's like a mistaken identity. Like, this is a big
Yeah.
investigation. Clearly they have proof. And Heather was sitting at that lunch with Seth, and Seth said, have you ever asked her if she's guilty? And Meredith says, there's no question that this scam took place, but Jen wasn't involved, or whatever she says.
She
We don't
didn't
think Jen
know
had any
what was
involvement. She
happening.
didn't
Yeah.
know. And then Heather says, there's no proof. And I'm like, Heather, there's so much proof. I just don't understand how you can sit there and with a straight face and say, there's no proof.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't read the proof or look up the proof, but there's proof.
She was too busy riding or dying
Yeah.
to read.
It's truly wild. My favorite thing after the sentencing, I don't know if you saw this, was Whitney putting Heather on blast for refollowing her on Instagram.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, her ride or die is sentenced to jail, so I guess she's following me now or whatever. It's pretty good.
I'm not like even 100% interested. I actually even say 100 because I don't think either of us are. I'm not even like 60% interested in this reunion that's coming up, because I know we said this in a previous podcast, but I do think Heather would have felt more inclined to talk about like the truth of the black eye during the reunion if she had seen the way that the internet had responded to her, um, because she just wants to be liked. So that would have maybe been a motivator. and Jen's not there. So what, are we going to have a couple more sound bowls? Like,
Yeah,
what
I
are we
don't
going to
know.
do with this reunion? If it's more than 2 episodes, I'm going to be so mad, but I'm glad the season's done. Let's get through this
I haven't
reunion.
watched the reunions trailer. I'm not interested. I think it's in 2 weeks. I don't think it's this Wednesday. So I think we get a Wednesday off at least. But I just, I have no interest. And Jen, Tone Deaf Jen, posted a picture of her getting all glammed up for a sit down with Andy, which I'm like, I don't need to sit down with Andy. What is she going to say? She's not going to admit to anything.
Right.
And I heard that it's 3 hours, but I don't know if that's true. That could just be like someone saying. So I didn't verify that.
Fuck.
But come on, she's
Three
getting paid to be
hours?
there. I don't know. I could have made
Yeah.
that part up, but I definitely saw someone say that somewhere,
Okay.
maybe on Reddit or something.
Is there anything else you want to say about Salt Lake?
Oh, good riddance.
Bye.
Can't wait for it to be
Okay.
over.
So, last but not least, we have Miami. And I want to start off with saying that I don't think it matters if you are or are not a Lisa fan. This divorce is still
Yeah.
compelling because of the way that, especially Lenny, I think, is handling it, but also the women's natural reactions to what Lenny is doing. This might be my favorite Housewives divorce.
That's a funny way to phrase it. Um, yeah, it's wild. I mean, I don't know what's going on in Lenny's head to be like
It,
publicly out with a girlfriend and then just be like, no, we're not getting divorced. And it's just really, and then the girlfriend is giving statements. Like, it's
mhm.
crazy. There's a lot happening here.
Lenny literally in one breath telling her to go fuck herself, telling Lisa to go fuck herself. And then 15 minutes later is asking if she's going to buy groceries. They need bananas and strawberries.
But like, Lisa, what are you doing? Go say, get your fucking girlfriend and go buy you strawberries. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me. Have like one of your 800 assistants contact me if you have something to say.
Yes.
If it comes
The
to the kids, we're dealing with the nanny only. Like, don't talk to me.
Yeah, the way it's being handled, I mean, like, even what Lisa's doing, like, I know she's saying, like, the kids could read this or the kids could see this, but also, Lisa, the kids can see, like, your reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And given, like, she's being cheated on, and I think her reactions are valid, but when you're using an argument of, well, the kids could see this or hear this or whatever, you're on a TV show. They're going to see and hear your reaction and all of it too. And um, it's just like the idea of the public mess. Like, even if everything she's saying is worth being said, I don't know if I was a kid to be able to go back and watch my parents divorce in real time.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but as an adult viewer who is not their child, please keep acting this way. Please.
Well, I mean, I put her, even her reaction, whether or not, I mean, like, I can say whatever and just say, like, don't talk to him, but obviously there's a lot of emotions that are flowing and things are happening in real time to them and we're just watching it. This is all on Lenny. I mean, Lenny chose to do this while they're filming. Lenny could have
Mm-hmm.
very easily waited until after the cameras were done and then just filed for divorce like a normal person would have done and then waited and started dating this person. Even if he's dating her before, whatever, like just keep it not in the public. But this guy's going out on dates into public functions with this girl openly. And he's going to page 6 and having all these conversations with them, talking like just spewing shit. And then this girl is making public statements before the
Mm-hmm.
divorce is even like filed or definitely not final. I don't even know if it's filed. So like he's making it so public that it's
Mm-hmm.
impossible for Lisa not to react. And she is filming the
Yeah.
show. So like he's the one that's doing it. I don't think she's choosing to make it public and I don't think she's doing anything wrong by talking about it on the show. I just think like it's all on him. That's all on
Yeah.
him. It's all his fault. If he wasn't doing anything like this, I don't think she would be talking about it probably.
Yeah. No, I think I don't know, like the I think he deserves everything that's happening. and I
It's
and
horrible.
having it aired out this way, the one thing I disagree with is like by saying like my kids or like our kids could see or watch this, and it's just yes, I think some of those phone calls could happen not on camera.
Hmm.
But I mean, also the other side of that is this is her job.
Yeah.
We're seeing it in real time. She's on a reality TV show, and Lenny knows that his current wife, soon to be ex-wife, is on a reality TV show. He knew he was mic'd up when he was talking to his friend about soon breaking up with her and everything, and like he knew as well. So again, kind of like the consequences of your own actions and having to deal with that. I just That's like the one thing I think I disagree with, but at the same time, it is what it is. That when you're saying like, I don't think Lisa's necessarily using the kids because that's too strong of language. But when they are one of the reasons that you are saying like Lenny shouldn't do this way, the kids, whatever, but like the kids are seeing all of it. It's
Yeah. I
not
think
just and or like honestly, if Lisa was that concerned, again, not saying I want this, but like bow out. We've seen Housewives like, hey, I gotta take this season off. I
well,
have to
she
deal with
needs the
this very
paycheck.
I that's the other part of it is like she girls gotta get
Yeah.
paid. But um that's the one area where if I were to just try and view this as objectively as possible, but as a podcast host who wants to see just turmoil. I
Yeah.
I really enjoy it because also I love how we're seeing the women rally around Lisa, and I think that it's bringing a level of cohesiveness that we haven't really seen a ton of on many seasons of like any housewives really, like Ashley is getting divorced, but even still you don't feel that like camaraderie around her.
Because she's buying a fucking house with Michael, even though I mean, it's so
Yeah.
stupid. But I think just to go back to the kids thing really quickly, I think the difference between Lenny and Lisa is that like Lisa's filming a show that's not coming out in real time. Like she's
Yeah.
not live streaming herself. Lenny's doing the stuff in real time, posting these things.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how it's going to get edited. She doesn't know if it's going to be included in the show. And I think those are like raw, actual moments where Lenny is purposely putting things out in the public eye in magazines. His girlfriend is out there making public statements. Their kids, friends, parents are probably seeing this like happening as it's going down, which is why I just think it's a little bit different. Like they could or could, they could choose not to use those clips in the show. And like the show's not going to come out for another four
Yeah.
or 5 months, 6 months. It's like this is all happening in real time publicly.
That's completely valid. I agree with that as well.
But yeah, I agree with you about the cast and how they're just supporting her 100%. And I love to see it.
Yeah.
But I mean, Lenny's trash. He's still out there in Instagram. I mean, he's living for this in the public. She's not doing any of that. Like I mean, occasionally she's like leaving supportive comments on some things I've seen, but like he's out there trashing her every single chance that he gets
Yeah.
in random people's Instagram comments. Like, dude,
Right.
what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right.
Like, are
Get
you okay? Get a fucking life. Go hang
get
out
a
with your girlfriend.
social media manager or
Yeah.
PR people to handle this for you because you're not doing it right.
Don't you have better things to do is what I don't understand. The thing that kills me when Lisa talks about the kids, I just feel for her because we saw the journey of her fertility issues or their
Yeah.
fertility issues. I don't know where they stemmed from, but like they had such a hard time conceiving and having kids and they ended up having 2 kids through a surrogate, and that's like all Lenny wanted, and it caused so many issues in their relationship, and she felt so guilty about not being able to give him kids. And now they have 2 kids, they have this family, and this guy's just such a piece of fucking shit. He's just such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He
Enough
doesn't even
where-
care about these kids. He's throwing them out of his house, but he made her feel so awful for not being able to carry children.
Right. I'm like, I'll see them every weekend or every other weekend or whatever.
Disgusting. He's disgusting.
What do you think of, and I know in the preview this might change a little bit, but what do you think of Lenny's mom being on Lisa's side versus her own son's side? At least for
Well,
the time being.
yeah, unfortunately, she was on Watch What Happens Live
Oh,
recently,
was
Lisa,
she?
and she said that the mom is no longer on her
Oh,
side. But she was not in a negative way. She was just like, it's her only son.
yeah.
She's going to support her son.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would hope that she would be on Lisa's side because her son is just acting disgusting. And how can you stand by a man who's doing this to his family?
Yeah. I thought it was telling because I mean, even if the mom does come around to defend Lenny, where she initially was, I
Hmm.
think says something. So,
I thought it was nice to see that Lisa had his mom to lean on at least a little bit for at least
mhm,
a period of time. Like when she left the keys and was like, we saw her having lunch with Lenny's mom and telling her about the girl licking her lips, which the video's out there. That
mhm.
is what she did. And his mom was like, she's disgusting. Like, who is this woman? And it's nice knowing that they have not had a good relationship for most of her relationship with Lenny. It's nice that like the mom was also supporting her.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm
Um,
sure she's thinking of the kids because she was another aspect of like pushing Lisa to have kids, regardless of
yeah,
whatever
that's
issues they were
true.
having with fertility. So like now you have these kids and your son is just like destroying his whole family.
Hmm. Yeah, it's I don't know. I think like midlife crisis is an easy out for it, but
He's just trash.
yeah, what are you doing?
Trash.
To aspire to be a man who is like who is always dating someone young like means you are getting rid of the one who is no longer as young as you want them to be. Like I
Hmm.
can't imagine that the woman he left Lisa for is going to be his lifelong partner either. So,
This man's not going to have a lifelong partner. He's going to
right.
have multiple marriages and divorces. Was he married before Lisa? I think so.
I don't know to be honest.
I don't remember. I think that she said that maybe, but I don't recall. But um, yeah, I mean, he's just going to end up in marriages and divorces or with some young girls until he ends up just dying and one of them gets his money.
Hmm. True.
Trash.
So, in other Miami happenings, we get a bit of Gertie and her husband. They're on a beach and talking about where they're at in the relationship, and things still seem to be going well. Her husband wants more sex. That's really
Hmm.
what it came down to, and that he wishes she would unwind a bit.
Yeah. She brings her work home with her. That's what it sounds like.
I think
But
with
it
her
seems like
job,
everybody's using this like Lenny and Lisa thing to like reevaluate their own relationships. So it's like a little weird.
yeah, a little weird, but I can also see like why that happens in real
Yeah.
time because while some people weren't as surprised as others, like Lisa herself said she was surprised. So I guess it's like a decent time to check in and make sure that like you're not about to get Lennied either.
Hmm. Just like watching Lisa and Lenny, especially just because I crammed it all over the holiday season,
Yeah,
it didn't feel to me like Lenny ever gave a shit about Lisa.
right.
He's not a nice guy. Like they never had a picture perfect relationship, at least on the show.
Hmm.
Whereas Gertie and her husband have been high school sweethearts. They've been together forever. Like it seems like they actually care about each other, which I never
Yeah,
got from Lenny.
right. I don't think we would ever see Lenny like kneel down in the bathroom to put like lotion on Lisa's
No,
legs.
no.
No. I did. What was it about Gertie? Oh yeah, like how she brings work home. I think she has an easy job to bring work home with because as a
Hmm.
planner, like literally that your job is to be thinking about things you can do. It's so
Yes.
hard to turn that off. Where if you're a firefighter, like he is, like okay, you have your 24-hour shift on, and then when you come home, it's not like you are answering any. You don't have a pager. You're not like on call or whatever, and it's
Hmm.
like okay, I'll be back there in 48 hours, and I'll give my 24-hour dedication at that point. So I could see why that's difficult. So,
Yeah.
but I want to see Gertie more involved with like overall interactions with the
Hmm.
women. She does feel a little bit on the outskirts right now, which I guess can be hard when Alexia and Marisol are themselves and
Hmm.
are just entertaining the two of them together because the way that they are genuinely able to like talk about people and themselves and everything and um even like Larsa and Lisa right now have a close bond because of what's
Yep.
going on that she kind of feels like she doesn't have her close ally right now.
I
And
guess she has Nicole, right? But like, meh,
yeah, but we're not seeing anything between the two of them really.
no.
No. We do see Marisol go to Lisa's house at the beginning of the episode, and I really liked this part.
Yeah.
What did you think of Lisa and Marisol's chat on the couch?
What did I think about it, I don't know that I remember that much about it, to be completely honest with you. But I know she
Oh,
went there to check up on Lisa. I don't know. I really like Marisol. That's it. And I like their friendship.
Marisol is getting better for me this season.
I've always liked Marisol, but I can understand why people would find her a little bit annoying.
It kind of surprised me that she was like, I need to go check on Lisa. Like, I have to
Yeah.
do this. I would have kind of maybe expected either Marisol and Alexia to go over, or Lisa like talking to one of them and them being like, "Oh, I guess we should go check." But it seemed genuine that Marisol was like, "No, I have to go over there and just like talk to her and make sure she's okay." And I kind of liked how she was like, "Look at all of us that have been divorced. Like,
Mm-hmm.
look where we're at. Like, you're gonna be okay." And I don't think that Lisa at that point was ready to hear
Yeah.
that stuff. However, I think she also needed to hear it because I think a
Yeah.
lot of the conversation so far has been like, "Oh my God, how could he?" And it is at least you don't have to go into like full on Gertie planning for a wedding mode of like planning for your future without him, but at the same time, just starting to think of like, okay, this isn't getting fixed.
Yeah.
Who else in my life has had to experience things like this? And she does have women around her who have ended
Yeah.
up in what seemed to be better situations than what they were in.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Alexia specifically, it feels like her two situations with her exes, her first husband, who
Hmm.
was apparently, I guess, like he's in that documentary, Cocaine Cowboys or something. I don't know. I didn't watch it,
Yeah,
but
like
I
a
guess like
drug
he's part.
kingpin.
Yeah, which is like, whoa. And then, what's his name? Herman,
Yeah.
who passed away after they were divorced, and she found out about this whole secret life of his. Like, people have been through divorces that are not just standard divorces, and they've dealt with a lot. And I think she, they're obviously all there willing to support her, and she has a really good group of women around her who she can lean on, who have been there before and
Hmm.
publicly. I mean, like Larsa and Scottie Pippen, he's a public figure, she's a public figure, like I feel like she's in good company.
Yeah. Who
Drives me
else?
crazy to hear Lisa be like, I still love him. I'm like, please just stop.
Yeah. Just don't
Like,
love him.
stop. No.
Love yourself. Don't love him.
Yeah.
Uh okay, so was it this episode where Martina and Julia had their burnt fish dinner, or was that 2 episodes
Yes. No,
ago?
that was this episode.
Okay, because we see like a lot from Julia, I guess, in this episode with she tries to recreate a dinner that her and Martina had had 14 years ago. And so the two of them have this nice romantic dinner despite the fact that she burned the fish. But what we don't see in the actual dinner, which comes up later as Adrian is laying on the table. Adriana?
Adriana.
I don't know why I want to call her Adrian all the time. Adriana is like laying on the table to get her non-surgical BBL and is begging for Julia to talk to her, tell her a story. And Julia's like, okay, I'm going to adopt a child. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
I thought that was fake when she first said it.
I kind of thought it was fake too. I was like, no, she's just saying that. But like, no, I guess they really are going to adopt a child, which I really like this for Julia. I'm actually starting to really, not that I didn't like Julia last season, I liked her, but I was just kind of like, oh, okay, she's interesting. She's very different than what we've usually seen. But I feel like she's like a really genuine person. And I really like that about her. And I feel for her because obviously she's going through a lot with her two daughters leaving and going to school and being alone and Martina not being there. And I just want her and Martina to work out. And I'm hoping that Martina is actually supportive. It seems like, I don't know, it seems like Martina is supportive, but it's just nice. It's nice. They have the resources to give someone a home that doesn't have a home right now. I
Yeah.
mean, like a true family home. So it's nice that they're going to do this.
So, not to bring the mood down too much, but
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, Martina has been diagnosed with
Yeah.
both throat and breast cancer. So,
Yeah.
they're no longer looking to adopt because there
Oh, did
are,
they call it off?
yeah, at least like this
That's
headline
understandable.
says,
Yeah.
they were exploring adoption before the cancer diagnosis. I think we see in the preview for next week, or was it in this episode, where um, she says that like they started talking to people and like the conversation didn't go
Yeah, I
well,
think
which
it's the preview.
yeah, which I
Hmm.
could see happening in that like you have two women above a certain age who are trying to adopt. And I don't think it's because of them being a lesbian couple by any means. I think it could be more the age component than anything of like,
Mm.
if you're adopting kids later on, then how long are you around for that? And I think even more so now with like the cancer diagnosis, that just doesn't, it's not a priority. Um,
I think
but
luckily it sounds like her diagnosis is stage 1, so
yeah, hopefully.
that's really good news.
Yeah. I think it's the fact that it's like both throat and breast
Mm.
versus just
Yeah.
like one. So yeah, I also read an article recently that cancer, basically like cancer isn't as terminal over the last 30 years as it used to be, which is like great news. Like obviously we would love
Yeah.
a cure for it, but the fact that it's not as like you get it early, there's lots of good chances. So we're rooting for Martina over here.
Yes, definitely rooting for Martina.
But yeah, I did not expect her to just be like, yeah, we're looking to adopt a child. Like, girl, you got a whole ass farm of animals. You don't need a child.
I'm supportive of it. I feel like Julia's using the farm as like just a way to take care of things, and not that
Hmm.
animals are things, like I love animals, but I just feel like she's putting like all of her maternal energy into Elvis the goat, and
Hmm.
she just I feel like she just has a lot of love to give. And I would hate that if their age is really the reason. I mean, I would hate if it was the fact that they are a lesbian couple as well to play into
Yeah,
the discussion, which, I mean, it's Florida, so nothing would
it's
surprise me
true.
truly, especially with the governor in Florida. I don't know how adoption works and if there's any like law that's involved in it, but nothing would surprise me.
I'm surprised he
Um,
doesn't have like a China rule in Florida with like firstborn son and that's it.
Yeah, I'm surprised as well. But we know he has an anti-LGBTQ agenda
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
far, like extreme. So nothing would surprise me. But they have clearly the resources to give a child a good home.
Right.
And she was saying that they wanted to adopt like an older child. So I would hope
Mhm.
that their age wouldn't play too much into it. Also, I don't really know how old Julia is. So I mean, Martina's obviously older, but I don't know how old Julia is.
I am looking right now.
In her
Julia.
50s, maybe, but like people that
Over.
Kenya Moore had her daughter at 50 years old.
Yeah. That's the thing. Is like she had
Yeah, but I just mean,
the
like people are parents older now,
she's
so I would hope that.
exactly 50. Yeah. Well, I think that
Oh,
there might be a difference in like signing someone up to parent versus like you obviously you can control if you get pregnant or not, but it is harder for outside sources to
yeah,
control you getting a child at 50, which man, Kenya and Julia are the same age-ish, kind of. Like that's kind of crazy.
yeah,
Quick Kenya sidebar. Uh I'm sure because you watch football, you've been seeing these commercials for the Fox show, like
yeah.
was
Special
it like
forces or whatever.
yeah, the training thing or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and Kenya's on it. Um, and I kind of want to watch the show. I think I might want to watch till like once all of them have come out. I do not want this to become a like I have to remember to go back and watch this every week.
Yeah,
I feel like I would enjoy it at like a very this is easy for me to have on while I am doing much like deeper thinking while doing my homework type of thing. But there's just so much TV right now. So much.
I just know like Beyond the Edge was horrible, so I just
Mhm.
don't. I don't. And there's no voting out or anything component of this show. It's just like they're there just to do it. So I don't really understand the purpose of the show, and I just hate Jamie Lynn Spears. So there's like no way that I'm no way. Britney forever. I'm anti
Mhm.
Jamie Lynn.
I might end up watching it. It'll be one of those like if I magically get through everything I want to, or
Okay.
how the other way I separate things. I might have explained this on this podcast is because if you follow me on social media, you will see that in our living room we have three TVs. We used to have four, but we have three because we watch a lot of sports here, and so there's accounts that are hooked up to the like living room TV area that are not mine. They're Brett's. So like
Hmm.
the Peacock in the living room TV is Brett's. So I watch Below Deck only in the living room because
Okay.
I've like started on there. So if I want
Oh,
to
so it keeps
continue,
up your.
yeah. So like otherwise I have to know like what episode I was on to watch it.
Hmm.
Because then my TV and my laptop have like my accounts on it. So like I'm continuing Real Housewives of Dallas on my laptop and in my room because of that. So there's like different things I watch in different areas based off of like where what three rooms that I spend the most of my time in.
Yeah.
So it might become like a laptop or my room show
Mm,
based on because Dallas is ending soon, and
right.
but there's other things on Bravo I want to watch too. So we'll see. But in conclusion, I might watch
I
it, and
suggest Summer House or Winter House before, especially now
it's
that you know Kyle.
yeah, it's that's definitely on my short list. I watched the first like episode I think of Winter House with my friend while I was out in Denver, but then we got into Traders
Oh,
Australia
yeah.
and that
Understandable.
definitely commandeered everything.
Yes. Understandable.
So, okay, back to Miami. Other things that happen in Miami this episode. We get some insight on the charity that Alexia is working with in relation
Mm-hmm.
to her son, which this charity sounds interesting to me because they reached out to Alexia when Alexia voiced her concerns on the show, saying, like, I don't know if he'll ever be able to live independently. I'm forgetting her son's name right now. Um,
Me
and
too. I mean, listen, I called Ray Huger Greg, so I'm not the one to ask today, clearly.
and so they have someone come in multiple times a week to like help teach him independence and stuff. I think this idea is so cool. Having worked with, I mean, I know I've said it, but like I have a special education certification, so I've worked with special ed students throughout my teaching career, and I also have two. They're my mom's cousins, so I don't know what that makes them to me. Are they like my great cousins? I don't understand
Second
how family trees
cousins?
work. See, I always felt like second cousin was like my cousin's cousin.
No, I think it's like my mom's cousin would be my second cousin.
Okay, I
I
believe you.
think. I don't know.
I, so, in conclusion, two of my mom's cousins have like pretty intense mental disabilities, and like growing up with them, and they're just like two of the best people I've ever interacted with, and like loved going on vacation with them. Um, so definite like soft spot in my heart for people who uh, take on the work to
Yeah.
work with this population of people. And so I'm usually like not big on the tying this type of stuff in. So I know I have a little bit more of like an interest in it than maybe the average bear. But uh, I do like seeing, or I like seeing that component of it. Maybe just to see like, okay, there's benefits to being on this show outside of like promoting your own business, you know? I feel like we get that a lot from these women, and to see this side of it and how it's benefiting other people, that's really cool to me.
Yes, I agree with you. And I also think it's and I just looked, it's Frankie. I just looked
Right.
because we've been on this journey with Alexia and Frankie and
Mhm.
Peter for so long. I mean, maybe me only like a month, but like through watching seasons, like, we've seen the story play out. So it's really nice to see like other people found this story touching and reached out, and now he's getting some, I don't want to say like benefits, but like I guess it's like a beneficial thing,
Support.
right? Yeah, support.
Yeah.
Thank you.
'Cause
He's getting some support from like an outside charity that'll, I think, help him grow as a person. It seems great.
I think we see it a lot, and not just in situations like Alexia's, but just like when you have someone in your family or a close friend who needs care, more intense
Mm-hmm.
care than and can't be independent. And I think a lot of times that people will try to take on that care for that person when you're not a professional at it. There are people who
Yeah.
go to college, who work in this industry and develop these programs with like both mental abilities in mind, physical abilities in mind. Like there's science behind it, there's research behind it, and um, allowing someone else to come in and help you with it, I think is strong. And I think it's not some, I think I know people who like are caring for like their dying family member until they die, and like there's professionals for this, like
Mm-hmm.
the mental toll it takes on you and all
Yeah.
this, like it just seeing it on TV screen in this way to me is one of the better uses of reality TV. So I
Yeah.
am a huge fan that Alexi's trying to like raise money for them, and they're also working with Frankie, and Frankie is being receptive to it, because I think that could
Mm-hmm.
be a huge issue. And I'm, it's very, I just like this whole storyline. I'm usually not big on these types of things, but this one got me. I'm a
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, and I think it's good. I mean, Alexia needs the support too, just like you were saying.
Yeah.
So I think it's great that this charity reached out to them and found them and it was a good fit and that they're working together. It's great.
That was like a main thing that her and her husband fought over when
Yep.
is it Peter was in the room as well, and he's like,
Yep.
you guys are not helping him. Like you do not see that you're not helping him." And she's like, "We help him every day." And he's like, "You're enabling him every day." And
Hmm.
uh so
That
to
was
have
something that
this.
Matt, my partner Matt, said was like one of the most real conversations he's ever seen when watching Housewives. He's like, I've never seen like a more real discussion, like familial discussion like this on
Yeah,
Real
and I
Housewives.
think those are conversations that like everyday families struggle
Yeah,
to have.
it's uncomfortable to
Yeah.
watch, but I mean, yeah. I think it's good to show that like there are people out there that I'm sure deal with things like this all the time, and
Mhm.
regardless of like your money and your resources and whatever, like people still have the same types of issues.
Yeah, for sure. So I liked seeing that, and we have an event that I think we cut the episode off at the event, right? Where
Hmm.
because we see Larsa and Nicole have a bit of a conversation, and then Nicole like had to go and make it awkward where she's like, "This is the first time we've talked in it. You haven't been condescending towards me and talked about my ex or whatever." And um
Her ex,
I
a
am
school teacher.
yes, the school
What a
teacher.
weird but like funny thing that Larsa keeps bringing up. Like, oh, why don't we talk about how you're married to the school teacher or your ex, a school teacher? You're divorced from school. It's like, why are you talking about him in that way? But it's funny. Also, like, why Nicole should be like, I don't care about this.
Hmm. Yeah, so what is there to care? Something obviously is up that we're supposed to care about. Do we know?
No, I have no idea. I haven't looked,
Okay.
but I
Okay.
have no idea.
Okay. So yeah, we had a bit of Larsa and Nicole that looks like it's going to carry over into next week.
To me, this
And
just reeks of Nicole needing a storyline.
yeah.
But
And
if I'm
Julia,
divorced from someone and marrying someone else who I'm confused about where he gets his money, I just don't know why you would care so much that Larsa says your ex a school teacher. I'd be like, yeah, he was a school teacher, and what about it?
hmm.
And next, who
Oh, and
cares?
part of the issue that we see that does come up, which I am interested actually in seeing how this part plays out, is Larsa was like, "Well, I've heard rumors about you that you've slept with everybody in the that works in the hospital. Like you've slept with all the doctors." And
Yeah, yeah.
I am kind of interested in seeing how that plays out because from Nicole's perspective, like I do understand how like saying that out loud on TV can definitely put her professional career. But that's another reason where I don't get why these people who have these roles in society that require integrity in order to be viewed professionally. For example, like if you were a teacher, you wouldn't be able to be a real housewife. Like you just couldn't because
Hmm.
there is this expectation that teachers are these like angels that just don't do anything wrong. And I think like doctors, nurses, people like Wendy, who's a professor and also on like
Like a
political
political
analysis
commentator.
TV stuff, like I think you're kind of playing with fire by choosing to
Yeah.
be on Real Housewives when even I'm in the middle of season 5, Dr. Tiffany Moon, right?
Hmm.
Like she's dealing with shit or had dealt with shit with just for like even being there and being Asian, which she unfortunately had to deal with. Like that was a whole thing, but
Horrible.
I don't get why people in their roles even choose to come on to this show because it just doesn't seem like it could help your what do you want your actual career to be? Like are you trying to transition into reality TV and leave your doctor career, lawyer career, professor career behind? That's a confusing move for me on all of their parts. And I like Tiffany on Dallas. I like Wendy a lot of the time. Um, to me, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why? Why are you here? And I don't mean it in a negative way. I just mean it in like, I don't understand. Please explain it to me way.
Yeah, I have that. I definitely have that feeling about Nicole. And I just feel like maybe you think everything's going to work out fine and like you have a lot of integrity as a person, but like you can't control what someone else is going to say about you, whether it's true or not. So, like,
Yeah.
if Larsa is just saying, "Oh, I've heard you slept with everybody at the hospital," like she's making good TV, but like you actually have to go to that hospital
Hmm.
and work there. So it just doesn't seem like a good decision to like you have to be comfortable with the fact that like maybe your actual professional career is going to get fucked up by this. And if you're an anesthesiologist, the amount of school that you have to go to, I mean like you hold people's lives in your hand.
Hmm.
Like it's seriously like you could murder someone at any moment. So it's just like I don't know. It seems like I wouldn't. And Tiffany Moon is an anesthesiologist as
Yeah.
well, isn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, what happened to Tiffany Moon was just disgusting. And it
Yeah.
wasn't like rumors about her being unfaithful to her husband. It was just racism and bigotry and
I
everything else.
just got to the Brandy episode. I wish I had like known more of when Brandy was going to say like I'm uncomfortable around you, and she was basically saying like I'm uncomfortable around you because you're Asian and I don't know if I'm like seen as okay within the Asian community because of the video that I made. Like she forced all of that onto Tiffany, and like yes, she got there that like oh what I said was fucked up, and um that like this isn't a you problem, this is a me problem. But I had no idea that we were gonna. I thought it was just like the beginning, couple episodes when it's like Tiffany had said,
Bravo had to make a statement about the racism that took place against Tiffany on this season,
yeah. So
specifically by dog food. What is this girl's name with the
oh
dog
I haven't
food?
gotten to that point yet. I haven't gotten to that point yet. So
Yeah, I mean,
because
she and her husband are
I
completely disgusting.
I
Cam?
read an interview, yeah, Cameron and her husband. I read an interview at the beginning of the season that, well, from the begin, or I guess when I was viewing the beginning of the season, that Tiffany said one of the reasons she thinks that like it went on pause was obviously because of what happened, but she refuses to film with Cam. And right now, her and Cam are fine in this season, but she said that they forced her to talk to Brandy about the video. She didn't want to talk about the video. She didn't care about the video. Bravo forced that conversation to happen. So I thought I was like, oh, that's it when it comes to the video. I didn't know Brandy was gonna come in and be like, I can't be myself around you. And it's like, whoa, I had no idea that wasn't. And so, like, man, whew. And
Yeah.
there's more still. There's like, I obviously know shit's going to happen with Cam or
A lot
Cameron
of it didn't
because,
happen on camera. A lot of it was like on social
oh,
media, but I'm sure search Reddit when you watch. I mean, a lot of it did
okay.
happen on camera as well, but I mean, a lot of it happened on social media.
Yeah.
And it was disgusting.
I'm
So,
definitely moving pretty slowly through this last season because of, again, like I've said, there's like Below Deck is more fun to watch, like old seasons of Below Deck versus the season of Dallas that happened like 2 years ago,
yeah, Dallas is
as well as
horrible.
like Traders dropping 10 episodes at once, and we're podcasting about that and the circle dropping all these episodes at once.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of TV that I'm trying to keep up with, and also my homework taking longer. But yeah, I'm moving slowly, so I know that there's stuff coming up with Cameron. I just haven't gotten there yet. I just saw like the shaman episode where Brandy says to her like, yeah, I it's me. Like it's not you, it's me. And the way that Tiffany, at least so far, and I'm assuming she does throughout the rest of the season, like handles all of this with like such grace. She doesn't deserve any of this. I
No.
feel awful for her. I'm sitting here just like, she just say that?
Yeah, Tiffany
Wow.
deserves so much better than
Yeah.
everything she got on that season of Dallas. It's frustrating that she was put into that situation, and I feel like Bravo really didn't do their due diligence to kind of like protect her
Yeah.
from these people that are
Yeah.
horrible. They're all
Yeah.
horrible. Like Leanne was a monster, but like a lot of these women just present themselves better, but they're just as bad.
Yeah. Stephanie doesn't do anything to make me hate her, right?
I don't think so, but I don't really remember. I didn't. I was in
Okay.
and out on this season just because
Okay.
it was so awful.
Okay.
I mean, and all of Dallas. I've never. The only full season I watched was when they went to Thailand, which is
Got it.
not much better. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, back to Miami. But anyway, yeah, and that's what I just don't get is I know we see a preview of Nicole talking to someone. I forget who. It might have even been Larsa. But I don't think it
I don't
was saying
remember.
like you don't understand to be like young, pretty, and Latina in this world that like not in this world, but like in her profession, that
Yes.
accusations like that can ruin her career. And I agree with that.
I don't think she was talking to Larsa in that. I think it
I
was someone else, maybe
I think
Alexia or
it's
someone.
yeah. It was someone that I was like, I'm surprised that you're talking to her about it. Because it didn't seem like someone to be like on Nicole's side more often than not. Like if
Yeah.
it was maybe like Julia or Gertie or Adriana, like I remember just being like, why is the conversation between the two of
Yeah.
them at lunch somewhere? That I just remember thinking that.
Yeah.
And so in that isolated statement that we don't see the full context of, I agree. But then the other side of it is like, why are you on this show if you are in a position that takes so much time, work, money, education to get into that could so easily fall apart because someone decides to run their mouth about something that is or is not true.
It's a lot of the reasons why people, and this is like a weird comparison, but a lot of the reasons why people won't apply to a show like Big Brother,
Yeah, I
because
wouldn't.
people like, whether it's the people in the house with you or not, the fans and the people on social media,
Are
it's like
crazy.
once you put yourself out there, you can't take yourself back. And if you
Yeah.
have something that you like care about in your life, like your job or your family or anything that means something to you, you have to weigh, okay, is being on TV for a hot minute, or like in Big Brother's case, like trying to win $750,000 or whatever the prize is now, worth this? Is this experience worth this, or should I just like watch it from my couch and have delusions of grandeur of like what it might be like? Because you're really putting not only you but your coworkers, your institution that you work at, whether it's a hospital or a school or a company or whatever. All look what happened to Justin, Whitney's husband. He got fired.
Right. I was thinking that.
Like his whole career because his wife was on the show. Like, granted, aren't they like an MLM or whatever? But like, who cares? But yeah, I think like, it's just a risk that you have to weigh.
Yeah.
Granted, maybe don't get naked and paint yourself on TV and like then almost basically start having sex while the camera's there. Like, we don't need that.
For everybody's sake. Is there anything else from Miami that we need to talk about?
I don't think so.
I think we covered it too.
I
There's
look forward to
one.
Miami all week.
Yeah, Miami's good. I enjoy watching it. A lot of times it's because like of the order that I watch them in. It's like I try to get through Salt Lake City first so that it's just done with, and then I get to watch Miami. I'm like, ah, yes.
Yeah, it's a good. I mean, I watch them in the order that they appear most of the time. I have not been keeping up current with Salt Lake City as much, but to start the week with Potomac and feel like, oh, I love the show, and then have like an all-time low of this season of Salt Lake City, and then Miami is like a perfect pick me up on the Thursday that it comes out. That it's like you end on a good Housewives note.
Yeah. One last thing I want to bring up, which I didn't realize till I was talking to my partner's friend at the bar, which he isn't
Oh
here.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's not here. Okay.
I texted him to join us, but I never got a response. I didn't realize that Cynthia got fucking divorced.
What? You didn't?
No, it never came across my timeline once.
I'm shocked.
Me too.
This was really big news.
Well, not for me apparently.
Wow. She's
was like,
back as a friend of.
Yeah, all of this completely missed me somehow. He was like, "You're on a podcast and you didn't
We
know
didn't
this?"
talk about this?
No, I had no idea.
I'm shocked that we didn't talk about it.
I don't know how I missed all of this. We don't know why they
Wow.
got divorced.
No, I think she put out there that there was some infidelity and then she took that back or like put it in divorce papers or something and then like rescinded that statement. So I mean, he wrote a book literally talking about how he's like cheated on everybody he's ever been with in his life. So like wouldn't surprise me if that had something to do with it, but I don't think we officially know.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to throw that out there because I always like Cynthia. And so having her back as a friend of, I'll take it.
Yeah, and it sounds like her and Kenya are back to
Yeah.
where they were. So
Which
good
is
for them.
great.
Yeah, I like
Which
their
is
friendship.
great. Yeah, for sure.
I would like to talk about my girl Shannon Bedore.
Oh, yeah, they
quick.
up too.
I just want to give Shannon Bedore a quick shout out. I'm sorry that you're going through what you're going through. John dumped her 7 days after filming ended. 50 Cent forever. That's right. I agree. What an iconic costume, by the way, 50 Cent.
Right.
Yeah, John broke up with Shannon 7 days after they stopped filming this season. So we won't see it play out on the show, but I'm sure it'll be talked about in the reunion. And she was on Jeff Lewis's radio show. I haven't listened to it yet, but I would like to just to hear what she has to say about it. But he was seen out on a date yesterday at the Quiet Woman. with
Oh.
"This isn't my plate, you fucking bitch."
Yeah.
He was there. That's like Shannon's spot, and he was
Yeah.
there with another woman right after breaking up with her. Like, what a poor Shannon.
Yikes.
Poor Shannon. I just feel terrible for Shannon after David Bedore and now this guy. Like, come on.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't think I told you this. I saw a commercial for
Oh, is it her
not
like,
stamps.com, but
yeah,
like a
mail, some
shipping
mail, yeah,
thing. Yeah,
shipping station or something,
he
ship
was in it
station?
too. I was
He was
like,
in it?
yeah, he was
Oh,
in the
fuck him.
background. He was like packaging something. And so I
Fuck
was like, oh,
him.
she got him a check too with all this.
Well, that's why a lot of people, I think there's two minds. People who are saying he just used her for the camera and that's why he waited
Hmm.
until 7 days after the season to
Hmm.
break up with her. And then there are other people who are saying he was looking out for her and not making her go through the breakup on camera. So I think there's
Yeah.
two sides to like,
It could be
maybe he did
both,
the
to
right
be
thing.
honest.
Yeah, there's no, yeah, it could be both.
I
Definitely
mean,
could be both.
he could have done it and then in a self-preservation way for him to not have to go through it on camera as well. So, I don't know.
There's something
But
wrong with these Orange County men. Like they were
yeah.
together for 3 years and then a week, not even a week later, you're out at Shannon's restaurant with another woman.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
and Steve Lodge. Steve Lodge is just complete trash.
Hmm.
Oh, the other thing we have to talk about is the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip
Cast.
cast. I don't think we talked
There's a
about
lot
this
of
last week.
repeats.
There are. Brandy's back, Phaedra's back,
Yep.
Eva's back, Vicky's back.
Hmm.
And then we also have Caroline Manzo,
Yep.
Camille.
Yep. We're missing one. I can't
Yep.
remember who. I know it's pinned on the
Someone I'm excited about.
Reddit. I'll look real quick. I know
It's
that
going
they
to
had.
bother me because it's someone I'm excited about, I think.
Oh, am I in the wrong subreddit? The fact that we're in two of these. I think you're in four, but
Yeah, probably. No,
I know.
two Real Housewives, but also in
Here
the
we
Below
go.
Deck subreddit.
Yeah, I'm gonna join the Below Deck subreddit once I finish watching. Vicky, Gretchen, Brandy,
Gretchen! That's right.
Camille, Phaedra, Eva, Alex McCord,
Alex McCord. I can't believe I forgot about Alex McCord. That's like
and
the
Caroline
headline.
Manzo.
That's the
Yeah.
headline. Alex McCord posted a picture of the Louis Vuitton, Herman Munster Louis Vuitton shoes on her Instagram. So she's back. They're going to Morocco. I
Hmm.
can't wait. I'm excited to see them not at Dorinda's house.
Yeah,
Like,
for
I'm excited
sure.
to see Vicky specifically not at Dorinda's house.
Hmm. Did you see that Alex McCord posted on Instagram? Like, each day I'm going to put up a different housewife that she's going with because she's like, I've been so out of the loop for like 12 years. And she's like, so first tell me about Brandy.
Oh
So
my
she's
God.
like getting fan input about Brandy.
I can't. I can't. I'm very, very excited to see Alex McCord and see what she's been up to all these years. She's like she lives in Australia. Like this is why I
Yeah.
never thought we would see Alex McCord again on TV.
And then, did you see that Phaedra is going to be on, is it Married to Medicine? Yeah.
I mean, Ultimate Girls Trip has been quite a launch pad for these women back
Yeah.
into the Bravo universe. Like
Yeah.
I never really thought we would see Phaedra full time on a show again, but here we are.
I think we'd see Caroline Manzo again.
I
I'm
did.
sure part of it was like, I have to be in isolation, or like it can't be anybody else. Like there's a reason she's the only New Jersey person on this cast.
I think it's I don't know. I think they just paid her enough. Like that's all
Yeah.
she's been in talks to come back for a long time. Like they've been asking her back as a friend of, and she doesn't want to come back. I don't think she wants to come back as a friend of, and she wants a lot of money. But she talks so much shit on her podcast about like put me on the show and I'll talk Teresa. Blah blah blah. I'm like then go on the show. Or
Yeah.
just show up somewhere. You're talking a lot of shit on your radio show.
Yeah, it's true.
And they're like she has publicly said like they won't pay her enough. So I guess she got the check that she was looking for. I don't
it.
really need to see Caroline Manzo again.
I know you're not a Manzo fan. I like her son.
No.
I follow him on Twitter. We share some common sports opinions.
I hate her whole family, but that's for another time. I hate those children. I hate them.
All right. Anything else we need to talk about?
I don't think so.
Okay, then Katie.
We talked about Rinna out, right? Yeah, we did. Okay.
Yeah, we like led with that last time.
She's
She's
been
talking a
giving
lot of
some
shit,
interviews,
and I don't
talking a
even
lot of shit.
care. I don't even care. Like, you're gone. Get the fuck out. Find a new job. get out.
My prediction is that we will see Lisa Vanderpump on this coming season, whether it's someone having lunch with her, whether
Yeah.
she's a friend of, whether she's back full time. She will be back in some. Garcelle just had lunch with her.
Right.
Kyle was like posting an old video from season 9 or something like that of them like joking and laughing in a limo, which is very weird that Kyle posted on her Instagram as a throwback. So like something's brewing. And Lisa
Yeah.
Vanderpump's been out there talking a lot. So
Yeah. I'll take it.
speaking of really quickly, quick plug for Vanderpump Rules. Watch the trailer because this season looks like it's going to be really good. And this show hasn't been really good in a long time. And the season looks really good based on the trailer. So maybe they're baiting and switching me here, but it looks like it's going to be really good.
It wouldn't be the first time, and it won't be the last time.
No,
I have
for
to watch
sure.
last season of Vanderpump. I think I'm one season out. So maybe that's what I'll do once I finish Dallas on.
You should do that.
Yeah, I probably will. Okay. Katie, you've had a microphone in front of you a lot over this last week or so. So tell everyone what you're doing online these days.
Yeah, and no signs of stopping anytime soon.
No.
You can find me on Twitter at RealSlimKatie. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSlimKatie with an underscore at the end. I took this week off just because there's been so much podcasting, but I'm hoping to be back as normal next week, around 3 times a week. I'm live. You can find me all over the place on Silent Podcasts. You can find Kari and I both, along with Javier, on Signed the Traders. So we put out a draft podcast on Tuesday. Kari and I have been podcasting every day with each other since Tuesday with no signs of stopping.
I think, no, we didn't podcast Wednesday. So we don't want to lie to the people.
Oh, I podcasted, but that's right. I podcasted about Pressure Cooker Wednesday. That's
Yeah,
right.
I didn't podcast Wednesday because I know I
Yes.
tutored that night.
Yes. So we put out a draft podcast on Tuesday. We put a first and second episode recap out on Thursday. We covered episodes 3 and 4 on Friday, and we are going to be back tomorrow with Javier covering episodes 5 and 6 of The Traders US. It's been really fun. You guys should watch it. We stand Kate Chastain in this house. I don't know. My words felt like they got jumbled. You can also find me on the first 2 episodes of the Pressure Cooker recap that are up on audio only. And your podcast feed talking about Pressure Cooker with Jason. So that's been really, really fun. I think he's doing episode whatever else. We did 1 through 4. So like 5 and 6. On Tuesday, I'm not going to be on that one, but Julia and Jake are going to be on that. So that'll be a lot of fun. Check that podcast out. The show's great. You should watch that show. And then tomorrow I'll be back with Isaiah and Josie Ann talking about Big Brother 11 and for Isaiah's Big Brother recap feed. It's been a lot of fun. So, and Big Brother 11 is going to be really fun to talk about because it's just a mess. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Any others?
Oh, yeah. And TJ hates quitters for the challenge.
I wasn't even thinking of it that way.
And yes, yesterday we covered the challenge with TJ hates quitters.
I just meant it in like, you sure you're at the end of your list? Do you want to add anything else to this
Yeah,
list?
no, I had another one. Another one.
Yeah. All right. Well, my list is not as extensive as Katie's, but you can find me KGD26 on all the social medias. I got my first DM from a listener more or less telling me to shut the fuck up, but then we bonded because she was right. And we've been talking. So that's been cool. That was like my first, like, I don't know. I feel, to me, it's always felt like the people who listen to us are kind of like in our corner of the internet because we've like played games with them or like they're RHAP people, whoever. But this is like the first, like, almost no connect. I can't figure out a connection besides she just enjoys listening to our Traders podcast. And so I apologize for the slightish spoiler I gave out, but we're cool. We've been chatting and I love it. So if you also want to message me to shut the fuck up, I welcome it. It's KGD26. Please do it. And so we're covering Traders, like Katie said, so we'll be back tomorrow to watch episodes 5 and 6. I haven't gone to the end of it. I know Katie has. So like yes. I am currently at a point where I wish we were podcasting like 30 seconds from now so I could keep watching.
Too.
But it's fine. It is fine. If you tweet about the Traders, I have muted you. So I even have Katie muted currently right now. Like
I'm not tweeting spoilers.
Nope. I saw Traders and like I finished it. And so I was like, I got to mute. Everybody's getting muted. As soon as I see Traders, I mute it. So listen, it's not personal. I've muted everybody. I would, if fair. President Barack Obama tweeted about Traders, I'd mute him too. So So yeah, I've been doing a lot of muting, but um, we've got that. We've got TJ Hates Quitters kind of winding down with this season. Um, and we're looking to do an end of season circle podcast. So that should be coming up maybe in the next week and a half or so. Cause I think the finale comes out this
Wednesday, I
week.
think.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy because I'm on episode 12 right now and there's still like 8 people left in this game. Like, we have to get rid of 3 people very quickly, or at least 2 people very quickly, I think. So,
Yeah, when I think in like the second batch of episodes, they were like, this is it. No one else new is coming in. I was like, whoa,
yeah,
they actually took the feedback to stop bringing people in at the very end. But we've been with
yeah,
these people for a long time, it feels like.
yeah.
But the
There was
season
a
hasn't
whole,
been bad.
no, it's been better than I expected,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I'm excited to talk about it. I feel like we have a bit more like strategic gameplay than maybe in last season. And the other thing, I tweeted about it today, but I feel like something got exposed that kind of like annoyed me, and I'm gonna say it right now anyway. The fact that like there's a twist that happens if you're not watching and plan on watching. I will try to talk about this as very vaguely as possible, but um where it required the players to go back and think about who they've talked to over the last 48 hours. And
Mm.
when one of the players is like, I only talked to player A, player B, and player C, that is what's fundamentally wrong with the circle. How is this person only talking to 3 other people over 2 days on a
Yeah.
social media based show? To
Yeah.
me, like 3 one-on-one chats a day, 1 group chat a day. And let that be known at the beginning, because then you have reason to check in on these conversations. Like, to me, yeah, it's like, sure, you get these one-off quips from people being funny. I think Sam is hilarious this season, but like, I want to see more of their interactions and like how we're getting to this place, because it feels like people make these like very broad, vast generalizations that they have to focus on, that like kind of, for those of us who get to see everything, it's like, whoa, this is like, how, why?
Mm-hmm.
Give us more chats. Have structured chats, a number each day. So anyway, that's my rant. But yeah, so we'll be covering that at the end of the season. In conclusion, bye.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't disagree.
and I didn't spoil anything, right?
I don't know. It depends on how sensitive people are to spoilers if they don't want to know like anything that happens at
Oh,
all and go in blind. But like,
I said
especially
a
on a
twist.
Housewives podcast.
Yeah, I said a twist.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's all good.
So, and I didn't even use names or pronouns. I'm confident. If you have a
You're
problem with
fine.
it, DM me. We'll be friends after, I swear. So,
Yes, it's true.
all right. Well, you can watch us on Twitch and YouTube. We love when you come into the YouTube and Twitch chat and, tell us how wrong we are about a husband's name, or define who
No, I
Greg is
needed
for us.
that.
Yeah, we
Thank
really
you.
did.
That was essential for me. I was going through it. I
So watch
apologize
us.
to Ray Huger and Greg Leeds.
So everyone involved.
Hmm.
And so watch us on Twitch or YouTube, get in the chat, interact with us. You can also follow us on Twitter, and these get streamed live on there. You can also listen to us in podcast form, Apple, Spotify, wherever else you listen to our podcast. And if you would be so kind to give us a 5-star review, that would be great. Write a nice comment. I love when Isaiah randomly screenshots me a nice review or a funny review. We love that. And it helps us grow and more people to hear us. So then more random people can be in my DMs telling me to shut up, which again, like, I genuinely enjoy that, because then I can be like, wait, what am I saying? For example, my hairdresser messaged me at the very beginning of this podcast asking if I could call her. And I recently mentioned my hairdresser on a Traders podcast. And I'm like, is she listening to me?
Oh, right. That's true. That's true. That did
I didn't say
happen.
anything bad. I said, I'm like,
No.
we gossip.
Yeah.
She's the greatest. So I now have to go call my hairdresser.
All right. Well, hopefully she's not like, what the hell?
Yeah, maybe she's listening. But we'll be back next week to talk about these housewives. If you want to hear us sooner, tune in tomorrow when we're with Javier talking about the traders. But until then,
Yes.
thanks for listening, and we will catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.